like they say, it's time to dance. I don't really know who said that, but let's just go. So the PlayStation came about in 1988. Sony and Nintendo crafted a deal to come up with a CD-ROM based console. Now Nintendo will say that this was never a thing, but Sony would then go on to show them receipts, and it was real. It was supposed to be called the Super Famicom. For those who remember from our last video, the Famicom was the first console that Nintendo put out in Japan only. The Super Famicom was to be the successor to that, but may have been known as the SNES CD. All depended on polls, how people felt about the name, because the name is everything. So they go on, Nintendo decides to rescind that. They say, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore. We're going to break the deal, and we're going to go ahead and work with Philips instead. I'm sure one of you guys have had a Philips TV or something of the sort at some point in time in life. They wanted to work with them. Sony's president was pissed at this point. I mean, pissed. I'm not going to read what I read, what he said, but it was not nice. He then will go on to tell the men behind the creation of what they showed to Nintendo, told him, yo, I need you to remake this, keep the same concept. We're getting in the video game business now. As this was going down, that was a stutter. Should I change it? Nah, let's just keep going. Now, as this was all going down, Nintendo decided to say, hey, you know what, Sony? Maybe you can come in and be a partner in this in a non-gaming role. Sony president had no idea what they were talking about. He just ultimately declines the whole thing. Nah, we not riding. We not doing that. He would catch a lot of flack for this, by the way, because at this point, who wouldn't want to get in bed with Nintendo? Anyways, they would go on to say, nope, don't want nothing to do with it. Sorry. They would then go on to create, as we know it, the first PlayStation. Now, the first PlayStation sold pretty well. Now, quick sidebar. As I told you a moment ago, Nintendo asked Sony to work with Philips instead in a non-gaming role, and they didn't take it in that capacity. However, they did ink a deal with Philips and worked with them on what would later be known as the DVD. Fun fact for you. Now that we're back about the sales, well, before we get to the sales, let's talk about one other thing. In 1994, they decided to show off what they had in a hotel room. And out of this, two big companies would want to work hand in hand once they saw the 3D graphics that were available. Those two were EA and Bandai Namco. So the original PlayStation would go on to accrue 120 million units moved. The first home console to do this before the Nintendo 64 would, or the Sega Saturn. I mean, if this isn't sweet victory, what is? To have somebody screw you over on a deal and to just jump into this ring, feet first, go in, and actually outsell your competitor, the person who pissed you off in the first place. Kudos to them. But this would not be the end of it. Oh, no. They come back with the PS2 in 2000. They came out about a year after the Dreamcast and about a year before the Xbox and the GameCube would come out. Backwards compatible. All right. Whoo. Slimmer design. Boy. And it would be the most successful home console in the cosmos. Okay, that's in the cosmos right now. I talked to some aliens, friends of mine. They don't even got nothing like this. They pushed over 155 million units as of 2012. I think it became a little bit more than that after the fact. Once they said they discontinued the PS2, whatever. So amazing games came out there. We're gonna get into that in a second. We come back with the PS3. That's right, PS3 comes back a little bit slimmer. Had a horrible price point out the gate. It did have that. At $600 for a unit that was the 60 gigabyte and the 20 gigabyte was like $499. Pretty pricey at that point. Had its woes, the first generation were backwards compatible. After that, they said it costed too much, so they took that away. They didn't have that many games. The games at launch did suck. The The PS3's beginning of its life cycle was not good. Like I said, the price point and the games at launch did not make you want to have a PS3 at all. Over time, they would begin to cut the price down, make a slimmer model, make it look a little bit better, and ultimately they would end up winning this console war as well. Let's talk about the PS4 that will come out after that. I mean, we know the PS4. Do I really need to get into it? All right, cool. Let's get into it. We launched around 2014. Came out in the era of the Xbox One, the Wii U. The Wii U and Switch, they're just weird. You don't know which one they're at. And it would do pretty well for itself. In fact, it would do very well for itself. So as we've done with the rest of these videos, let's talk about the numbers. The numbers are as follows. So the PS2, like I said, the highest selling home console out of the bunch, 155 million. PS3, 87.4 million. PS4, 96.8. Now here's like some fun facts. The PS2, the highest selling game, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, 17.3 million. For the PS3, Grand Theft Auto 4, 25 million. Coming in right behind that for the PS3 was Grand Theft Auto 5 at 21 million. Crazy. PS4, Uncharted 4, 15 million. So, overall, great sales, software, hardware, moving tons of unit. And this all came off of pissing someone off. I think that's like the wildest thing about this whole history of PlayStation. What does PlayStation do well? Well, they have many exclusives. I think to have you need these exclusives in your library. Okay, so let's talk about some of these exclusives in recent history. Let's talk about the recent God of War that came out. It sold over 10 million units. Horizon Zero Dawn sold over 10 million units. Last of Us has sold well over 10 million units. Uncharted 4, as I just said, over 10 million units. Spider-Man is currently knocking on the door of 10 million. It is almost there. We have so many other ones. We have Persona 5. These are not 10 million club. That's a specific breed. But, we have Persona 5. We have Ratchet and Clanks. We got Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain. We have, what else is first party that we got? One thing Sony does exceptionally well is they have great product placement along with very minimal overlap. With all these dev teams, it is very, very hard to do. Let's talk about the dev teams. We have Japan Studio. We have Polyphony Digital. We have Naughty Dog, Ben Studio, San Diego Studio, Santa Monica Studio, Sucker Punch, Visual Arts, Guerrilla Games, London Studio, Manchester, Media Molecule, Kojima Productions, Insomniac Games. So we have quite a few. And there are even more that they deal with in terms of their third party. But there's something that I noticed maybe last year, 2 years ago, and I decided to do a little research to find out. In terms of their first party games and some of their second party games, they do very good in terms of ensuring that no two games overlap. They don't give the consumer the terrible feeling of, oh my God, 3 games are coming out and I want to buy all 3. They ensure that they space it out so that the consumer has the ability to at least get each big game that comes out from them. And this is what I'm talking about, market placement. So let's look at 2009. Let's pick a weird year. We had Killzone. That came out in February. Infamous would come out in May. Wolfenstein, August. And Uncharted 2 came out in October. Each game got a massive amount of time to market, promote, and ensure that they did the best they could to be the most visible to the consumer. Just amazing. So let's go 2016, right? Street Fighter 5. That's not even a first party's, this would be kind of in that second party. But Street Fighter 5 was developed exclusively for the PlayStation, and they punched it out in February and let nothing else come alongside of this at all. They found the greatest window for it to be the most successful. Then we come out with Uncharted 4 in May of that year. Once again, nothing comes out next to it. Let's go 2017. We have a Horizon Zero Dawn comes out in February. Once again, nothing comes out next to it. And then in the fall, we have Destiny 2. Nothing comes out next to that. Now, just really quick tangent. When Bungie left Microsoft, Sony was one of the places that they were looking to land at. Sony did make a pitch to try to get that studio. I mean, who wouldn't? Activision just had the very, very, very lucrative offer that they just couldn't turn down. However, Sony kept good ties with them, and that's why you see PlayStation Destiny consoles. That's why you see exclusive Destiny content only on PlayStation. They did keep a really good relationship with them, and they actually treat them like a first-party title, which is kind of crazy. But if you look, Destiny 2, nothing comes out next to that. Closest thing would be Wolfenstein. That was late October of 2017. If we go to 2018, God of War came out in April. Nothing comes out next to that. And Spider-Man came out in September. Nothing came out next to that. And then if you fast forward to this year, we had Days Gone that came out. Nothing came out next to that. As you see, the theme stays the same. They want each game that's from their first party title specifically to have the most visibility. Even their second party titles are getting the same treatment. Hey, we want you to get the most visibility that you possibly can, and we don't want another dev team that's in-house to have to compete with you. You want to try to, make sure that everybody wins. The consumer wins because they're not conflicted, and the dev teams win because they're not fighting amongst each other to see who can do better. I think that's really awesome. We got stuff, guys. Okay, we got stuff. And that's the thing with PlayStation. So many exclusives. And it's not even theirs. They're buying out other titles. Street Fighter V. They help them develop that game for the PlayStation, such as a PlayStation exclusive. You can't play Street Fighter V anywhere else. They don't do that with just that, but so many more. Just so many people want to work with PlayStation right now. And it's incredible. It's amazing what they've been able to do over the years. This is their bread and butter. I think although Nintendo has a great lineup of exclusives, they're all pretty much the same song and dance when you look at it. It's always Mario, Donkey Kong, Metroid. We know that. We've done that song and dance before. PlayStation is oftentimes coming out with something that you haven't played before. Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, new IPs, hate it or love it, Days Gone. They always try to give you something different that you haven't played. There's a new reason to get excited about owning a PlayStation. This is where they are great at. Where they're good at, well, just all around, just giving you, where they're great, they're good at. This, for me, I really haven't seen much to separate the two. They're just great and good at that. Where they are bad at right now is their user interface. It's not bad in terms of layout. It's bad in terms of connectivity. A lot of times you try to get on the PlayStation Store, it's not as zippy. It's not as, as quick as it should be. Their internet infrastructure, second to the Xbox infrastructure, but nonetheless, it still works, The PS3 era, you had people, Xbox Live is better, but you were paying for it $60 every year, whereas the PS3 was free. So it's like, is the experience not as good? Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm still getting it for free. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, I think PlayStation just needs to take some more strides in their connectivity in terms of to the PlayStation Store and also their multiplayer aspect. But overall, just the most balanced out of all of the big three. Out of all big three, this is probably the most balanced console. And to me personally, the most must have. Now, just to play Dr. Frankenstein here for a moment, if I could take the internet and multiplayer capabilities of the Xbox, I would probably also take the interface of the Xbox too. I really like that layout. If I could take the portability of the Nintendo Switch, but the exclusives of the PlayStation, this would be my ultimate console. Oh my God. that would be just an amazing thing. But I feel like keeping these things separate is very good, is very healthy. You want to keep healthy market, healthy competition between everyone. You really want to keep that healthiness in terms of competition between everybody. I don't think I really want to see all consoles unite and make the super console. I just feel like they'll begin to rest on their laurels and not really attempt to put out really good content. As I've always said, competition breeds excellence. I've always felt that way. No different now. My look at these big three, it's not to say that one is better than the other or start some format of console fanboy war. No, I just literally just wanted to take a look at all three, talked about where they shined at, where they sucked at, and call spades spades. But with that being said, this is the last of talking about the big three, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you appreciated this little series I did. I hope you liked it. I got the tournament coming up. Defend the North. I'll be there. We'll keep you informed if, I'm on Twitch and whatnot. So I hope you come and just check it out. I'm not going to get washed this time, I promise. I'll be playing in Mortal Kombat Soul Calibur 6. Be sure to look for me over there. And maybe, just maybe, if you watch, a sexy visitor will return. But everybody, be cool, be sexy, be kind, be loving. Peace.